Hi, everybody. This is Johnny Romero with the J3 Collaboration Project. And once again, we have an opportunity to talk to industry leaders, needle movers that are really making a change in the communities that we serve. So, without further ado, I want to just introduce a friend of mine who's back again, Devon Mitchell, owner operator of Anytime Fitness in Newark, Delaware. And so, welcome back, Devon.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you for the invite. This is on my calendar, so I've been waiting for the second interview. So I appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah, it's amazing. We were chatting a few minutes ago how quickly 2022 is gone, and we're already midway through 2023. It's hard to believe. So we have a lot of catching up to do. We'll do our best. It always seems like there's not enough time. So just want to kind of circle back a little bit of 2022, the latter part thereof, and really with something that we thought was definitely worthy of mention and highlighting was that, and many of our viewers may have already been tracking this, but you were a recipient of the IFA Open for Opportunity Award. And just wanted to talk a little bit about that. One, what it represented, and since that time, what 2022 looked like, and how you were able to close out the year.
Yeah, great. Thank you. The Open for Opportunity, that award, it, there's ultimately, I think for me was the experience was great that the work that we are doing in the community that's recognized by a governing body that we hold high-heartedly respected. And so when the IFA reached out to us, first of all, it was a surprise, and then secondly, it was an honor to be able to now take this and share this with a larger community. That the things that we're doing, the impact that we can make in our community is being recognized.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, no, well deserved. And congratulations, of course, officially. I know I've said it offline, but I'll say it publicly. We're very proud of you. And how did your year end close out 2022? Were you able to accomplish what you set out to do? And are there some things that are kind of carrying over to this current year that you're working on currently?
Yeah, yeah. So literally, I think really after the IFA Open for Opportunity, it kind of had to sit back and realize the importance of this and how we can ultimately leverage this to help our community. And from that point to 2022, really started having conversations around putting together programs that can help the community get into franchising, right? And then we've just been continue working that plan throughout 2023, and just still working on the launch date, but getting partners that like-minded folks are thinking about the same thing, understand that there's a challenge, but if we all come together and everyone kind of puts their piece into the larger group, we're ultimately going to be able to make a dent in our community and communities, that folks that look like us and wherever they're from.
Absolutely. That's awesome. So we're in a new year already, midway point. Um, what have you seen take place already thus far as connecting with individuals that are of the BIPOC minority community that are really looking toward business ownership? Have you been able to connect with those individuals? Have you had any success stories of anyone that you've connected with that is currently making that a reality? And feel free to share anything that you feel our viewers can benefit from, because a lot of times, and this whole initiative that really self-esteem brands got behind over a year now and has continued on to 2023 is really about not just checking off a box, but really providing resources, availability, individuals like yourself that are able to be mentors to the next generation of business owners. So, anything that you'd like to share as far as what you've seen taking place currently in this year thus far, as we are heading into the second part of 2023?
I think the conversation is increased, right? Spaces that I go into, inner cities that where I'm from, New York City, Delaware, Pennsylvania, folks are having more conversations around franchising, especially in the fitness and the wellness space, as a reality, as something that they can look at and say, hey, you know what, I think that's something I can do. So it's given me an opportunity to share my knowledge, share my expertise with folks that are thinking about it and really looking at it as, hey, I don't have to start this thing on my own. I can look at a franchise, and if it matches up with what I'm trying to do, maybe there's an opportunity for that. So I think, tremendous amount of conversations have kind of started to move the needle to start thinking about maybe that's something I should think about.
Excellent. Very good. Yeah. And, we really were able to see from our Q1 event, which is the Project 23 Minority Franchise Business Ownership Initiative that rolled out with the J3 Collaboration Project, which we have available, the replay on our website and our social media. Really, the interest and the opportunities that are out there for individuals that perhaps thought, making business ownership a reality was a little bit outside their reach. And we are definitely looking at replicating the success we had with that event in Dallas in March, for hopefully by the end of this year, a similar event on the East Coast in your neck of the woods, so that we can also connect with individuals on that side of the country that are in a similar situation, and perhaps really are just in need of connecting with the right people. So, with that in mind, uh, we have about 6 months. We have a little bit less than that as we're heading into already the mid July. What would you like to accomplish, with what's left of the current year, on a personal level and from a business side of things too? Because we know that we're always juggling, right? The balance of work life. So feel free to share on both sides of the equation what you're looking to get done.
Yeah, and well, thank you for. I didn't know that you. I saw the event in Dallas, and I was like, wow, this is cool. I was like, I've got to reach out to these guys and say, hey, this might be something that, you know, I'm in Delaware. What's going on? Because I think events like that is where you can bring your industry leaders, bring the community there, right? Bring all the players that when you when you're done and you leave, you have a roadmap or you've got a blueprint that at least to get you started with where you're going. So, it's great that you mentioned that because I've been talking to folks in the community about putting on something of that, right? To get folks excited and understand that this is a space that this is something they could do. So I'm happy to hear that, and let me know how I can partake. I'd love to be able to help you guys out with that. So definitely, and for me, that's on the business side because it personally, for me, is looking at getting launching the community initiative on getting more folks into franchising, getting more folks that look at entrepreneurship, business ownership, and not have to start from scratch, right? Talk to them and kind of really looks at, hey, there's proven systems and programs that are out there that you can be a part of. And that's if that's your start, let that be your start, but at least it gives you an opportunity that you can kind of develop something else that you're trying to do, but you don't have to go through all the bumps and bruises. Those things have been done before. Leverage it, and then move forward with it.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things I really appreciate about you, Devon, is your attitude is infectious, right? I get motivated talking to you, and I think a lot of our viewers feel the same way. And the viewership that we've had just on our first conversation demonstrates that. But one of the things that you share a lot, and I really appreciate the message, is one that I think is worthy of really circling back to, and it's this look within and leverage. And I think my interpretation of it, and you can feel free to correct me or expand upon it, is the fact that a lot of times when we look at whether it's business ownership or looking to really start a legacy, which is really what you know, and we talk about minority franchise business ownership, isn't just a one location type goal, but really building a foundation that could be incremental, multi unit, and again, building a legacy for your family. Um, and looking within and leveraging in the way I look at how you apply it is really motivational in that we do have to look at our accountability, our responsibility of what am I doing to make things move in the right direction. It's not just what resources are available to me. Of course, we want to make sure we take advantage of those and we want to make those available. But it really is about making sure that we are taking action and doing our part so that we can help the next generation, if you will, or someone else. So you know, do you see that my interpretation is accurate? And two, how do you feel that others can really do their part locally so that they're not just looking for the opportunity, but maybe they're also the ones to create it?
Yeah, yeah. So the look within and leverage, that concept is really, it works for you to look at it and says, this is how it shows up for me. This is how it motivates me. This is how it allows me to do that. But one thing I think that does is when you have that and you think about look within leverage, it's something that starts to have you think, well, what else can I do? Am I in a position that it's not always, maybe I can create a system, maybe I can open up a pathway, maybe I can have a conversation with someone to say, hey, I know someone that I think can help you. And I think a lot of times we get systems, folks get caught up in an introduction should be a cost, right? And a monetary cost. And a lot of times that it's short-sighted, I think, right? The introduction is allows you to scale things that you may not have done before, right? So if you have the answer that you can leverage and help someone, for me is the more people you have in the game, the more opportunity you have the game to continue, right? If you're the only one playing and you're not bringing other people as part of it, then at some point when additional competition shows up, you don't have any coverage. You don't have any places to lean on to find other resources and other assets that you can leverage. So for me, I think look within and leverage is really building an ecosystem that allows you to thrive and survive in your businesses.
Awesome, love it. That's really great advice, and I think for those that are watching, it really is something that encourages us to know that we do have an empowerment, if you will, to be able to make things happen. We're not as limited as it could be perceived or we may think, and so I appreciate you sharing that. We definitely are going to be connecting with you for sure when we are able to kind of put some dates in place of putting a little bit of an event together, like I said, in line with our Project 23 initiative. Um, you know, I just want to kind of, for those that are maybe watching for the first time, and I'm here with Devon Mitchell, owner operator, Anytime Fitness Newark, Delaware. What really was the impetus behind this, diversity initiative with Self Esteem Brands? What was, it goes back over a year now. We can see that there is a lot of opportunity that is being created for minorities, African American, BIPOC. What do you think if I'm watching for the first time and I'm hearing this message, I'm liking the message? What is some, call to action that you would give someone that maybe has great ideas, has some desire to create a legacy? What would be some good first steps today that they can do so that maybe they can get to where you're at in your career path?
Yeah, I think the first thing is once you realize that there's an opportunity there, look around and see, well, what do you really need, right? If their organization out there. I think folks can reach out to immediately if it's a franchise. Reach out to the International Franchise Association. There's a wealth of knowledge there. There's folks that are there that want to help, that want you to support, and ask questions. If you see there's a facility, there's a Anytime Fitness, there's a Wax in the City, there's a Bar Method, there's a anything that you go ask the question, who's the owner, and ask the owner, hey, can I, could you tell me how you did this? And the owners understand. They're like, okay, let me give you some advice on how this thing can help. I think you made a point earlier about, folks sometimes thinking that one unit is it, or it's a multi-unit for generational. But I think when folks start, you have to make sure that the education is that here's how you get to your ultimate goal. And multiple units ultimately look like that, but also finding a brand that can allow you to grow not only in one unit, but in other types of brands, right? Other types of franchisees that they may have, that if you put them together, you're creating that network for yourself, that you have one business here that's a franchise that ultimately supports the other. I think we have to look at it from a standpoint of it's not one and done. It's one on the way to your goal, right? And sometimes that goal may mean another industry. It may be it catapults you to somewhere else. And I think when you go about it, you have to have a broad, long term view on what's going to help you to be successful.
Excellent. Love it. So then, if you're in the Newark, Delaware area, we will share how to reach
Yeah,
Devon
definitely,
Mitchell. And we'll have
definitely.
that on our channel and our social media as well. Feel free to reach out to him directly, visit his location and check it out and get a good workout in while you're at it.
Yes,
And
of course.
also, if you're looking at, how do I get financing, or to Devon's point, I really appreciate, the education piece. I think is really one that we can certainly address and talk about at length. But in short, it really, I think, is about educating ourselves to make sure we are doing our due diligence, right? I think a lot of times the tendency today is, we are in a digital world. Everything is, shorts and clips and 2 and 3 minute statements, and that's all good. Sometimes it can get some motivation to do that, but beyond that, there's definitely got to be some time dedicated to really studying what we want to do, identifying, what exactly is it where I want to reach, and what is my goal. And that takes time and some investment, but I think it's well worth it to be able to build a solid foundation. So if you're looking to get educated on, whether it's how do I build my credit, am I credit worthy, how do I, take those steps, reach out to the J3 Collaboration Project. We have a network of professionals, financial resources as well, that are available to provide some of that education. And of course, the other part of that, you have to be willing to put in the work. So that way you can, again, make that progression. So it's always great to connect with you, Devon. I think as we wrap up our conversation, what would be, it's hard to always choose when we talk about goals, but as we look toward the end of this current year, 2023, what would you like, if it's one or two things that you want to get accomplished? What is in your kind of trajectory or your focus that you want to reach by the end of this year?
Okay, yeah. For me, what I'd like to do is I'm on the board of an organization. It's a nonprofit called Black Women in Aviation, and for me, I think what my goal is to get that organization more in front of the community, in front of the folks that they want to serve, and really socialize that there's tremendous amount of opportunities throughout our community, wherever we are, wherever we show up. And there are folks in those communities that are doing great things and creating a platform that allows them to share those things that they're doing with folks that are coming up and may not think that those things exist. So, being a part of the Black Women in Aviation organization, it's obviously right. I'm not a yes, I am not, but it's being able to see their vision, see where they're trying to impact. And it goes back to looking within and leverage. I said, hey, I'd love that. How can I bring my resources, my contact, the folks I know, the places that I've been, and then leverage that to help you, to help this organization grow and become what it desires to be. So for me, at the end of the year, there's an event that we're working together to get that done. So that gets done, it'd be tremendous. My year would be complete.
Awesome. Well, let us know how that goes. We would love to reshare what's going on with that
Yes.
initiative through our J3 Collab platform for sure. And that's what we're really all about. It's really about not just our one vertical, right? But we're really looking to be, multifaceted. And I think that is really what it's about because it provides more opportunity. And I loved what you said earlier and the metaphor, if I correct me if I believe what it was is the more players you have in the game, again is really it's going to be a better experience for everybody. So
It builds
it's really
longevity, right? It
yeah,
builds
that's really
longevity
it.
because you think about any brand that you see, the more you see them, you think, oh wow, these guys are going to be here. And the more people that are in the space, the more the space gets refined, it gets better, it performs better because now folks are able to share more, right? Because they can look and say, hey, I think this can go somewhere. Let me add my kind of what I can put to it. And we all come from places and experiences that when you really have get to a place where you can leverage your experiences, your knowledge, your where you're from, I think that's tremendous. And for me, wherever I show up, if I can help someone show that that's the way, look, wherever you're from, there's greatness in that. Let's give you some space to go leverage that and bring all of that to the game.
Absolutely. I agree. It's a great way of looking at things, and I think it's also a very inclusive way of making sure that everyone has an opportunity of making their dreams a reality. So thank you so much for what you're doing. We love what you're making happen, not just on the business side of things, but also in the community and on a personal level. And you know how to reach me as things develop. We'll definitely be connecting. We are going to certainly have you back on, and hopefully, maybe it'll be one of us on, in Delaware in
Yeah,
person.
definitely.
That would be great.
Yeah.
But regardless, we will definitely continue watching your trajectory. We thank you for your support and everything that you're doing. And for those of you watching us on YouTube or any of our social platforms, like, subscribe, follow. We appreciate the support. The engagement has been fantastic. We appreciate all the support we have. And it's individuals like Devon that really make what we do here at the J3 Collab Project enjoyable and fun. And so we thank you for watching us. Please reach out to Devon if you're interested, and again, finding out how you can follow this dream of business ownership. He's somebody who is very knowledgeable, and as you can see, is someone that's easy to talk to. So thanks, Devon. Is there any last words you'd like to share with our viewers? Feel free to share any final comments.
Sure. To share the viewers, the opportunities that are out there, you've got support, you've got help. Dive in, and you're going to find the folks that will show up that are going to help you. If you don't dive in, they're not going to be there. So I would advise that take that step. If you're thinking about maybe this, maybe that, you're on the right path, and just dive in, and the support you need, it'll show up.